The Bible tells us that it rains on the just and the unjust alike, meaning that times of trouble and trials are bound to come to everyone, regardless of whether your walk with the Lord is strong or whether you have no walk at all. Even still, believers who have a relationship with the Lord should know that when trials do come, and if God calls us to persevere through the trials instead of delivering us, He is right there by our side through the fire. We don't have to walk through it alone. We only need to trust Him. King Nebuchadnezzar learned that when he decided to throw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the fiery furnace for not worshiping an image of gold that he'd set up. It says in Daniel chapter 3, verse 25, he said, "Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like the son of the gods." Earlier, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego proclaimed that whether God chose to deliver them or not, that they would still not bow their knee to the image of gold. They recognized the sovereignty of God, desiring God's will above their own. But they had enough faith to trust that He would deliver them. Likewise, we should also pray in faith that God would deliver us, still knowing that He is God and may have a plan that is different than our own desires. In the case of these 3, God allowed them to be thrown into the fire, but He was right there along with them the entire time. In the midst of their trial, God was not far away. He didn't watch from a distance. He was right there with them. I believe that when we go through trials and when we cry out to God, that whatever He decides our fate to be, that He is right there with us. Do you believe that today? If you're dealing with something in your life that you'd like prayer for, I'd love to pray for you. Just email your request to writecmv@hotmail.com and put the words prayer request in the subject line, and I promise I'll be in prayer for you. God has the power to deliver us from any situation, even if it is a trial of our own making. When we call out to God, our job is to have faith, not only to believe that He will deliver us, but also to trust that He is God and that His ways are higher than our ways. Sometimes our prayers aren't answered in the way that we'd want. Sometimes God chooses for us to walk through the fire instead of helping us to avoid it. When that happens, don't lose heart. God ultimately saved Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but not before they were thrown into the fire. When you've prayed and still see yourself heading for destruction, does your faith waver? I encourage you to keep your eyes on God. Whatever your fate, God is in control. Put your trust in Him. Whether you are delivered or whether you have to walk through the fire, trust that God sees what you cannot see and that He is right there with you in the midst of it all.